Welcome, Hoodlum gang members. Welcome back to my channel. This your boy Hoodie from the Hood, aka your friend from that big old end. As you can see, on my lunch break, had to holler at y'all one time. Over the past couple days, there's been a lot of talk about race and racism on YouTube, on various channels, mainly referring to California, whether it be in the streets or the prison system. I may have adjusted. I may have spoke on it the other day, but not to the point to where I'm about to speak on it right now. Like I said, several channels been speaking on it. Dubs, shout out to Dubs. I was just in his live. And I had told him in the live that one of the reasons why I mess with his channel is because I missed the old school essays that didn't say nigga, just the original, you know, that style. And that got a good laugh out of him, but I was serious. Don't get it twisted. Got love for my essay niggas too, meaning the essays that use that word and carry themselves a little bit, I don't want to say up to date, I would just say a little more urban. Got a lot of those homies too. Shadow from MODNT spoke on it. The Hood Postman, Melly Mill, he spoke on it last night. He was more so reacting to Bozo's response to Big U. Now, I don't know if it just came across his plate, but he responded to it very eloquently like he does. And I would advise y'all to go check that out. Like I said, the Hood Postman, go check that channel out. Who else spoke on it? Active War Stories, he spoke on it. And he just told a story today. Now, if you don't know that channel, Active War Stories, we'll just say he's a guy from up north. I don't know him personally. I don't know all that other stuff, but he's a Hispanic guy from Northern California. If you know a little bit about Northern California, the Hispanics up there and blacks, they have a closer relationship than the average hood down south. Well, he said that somebody got in his comments, I'm guessing it's a black dude, and the black dude was saying that blacks need to stop with this black and brown unity, fake BS and all this stuff, because older Hispanic men and women, like some people's parents, but a lot of people's like grandparents, are racist. So Active War Stories basically said, you know what, I'm gonna touch on that. And like I said, they have a close-knit relationship up there, black and brown. It's not as hostile as it has been as sometimes down south. And even he said one day he brought a black friend over and his grandma went off. He said he didn't know why she was going off. He thought it was because she smelled the weed. I think they was just smoking or rolling up or something like that. And she was going off about the black dude being in the house. So he said he felt embarrassed, whatever. He apologized. Later on, he hollered at his grandma and asked her what was wrong with her. And I guess she had told him, you know, when they first moved over here, and you know, they used to, it was somewhere in the Central Valley, you know, working in the fields, picking fruit or whatever like that. They used to get paid every day. There was no minimum wage, and when they would get paid, you know, for groceries and, you know, they bills and stuff like that, blacks used to rob them. Used to rob them for their money. And a lot of older Hispanic people back in those days, I don't know exactly when this was, maybe it's like the 50s, 60s, stuff like that, may have felt oppressed by some blacks. Now, obviously she was much older at that time. She was his grandma. So, I mean, at what point do people realize, like, hey, that's not all of them? That was a couple people. But he said she couldn't shake that. American Cholo, Gil also acknowledged that back in the 70s and 80s, that stuff you see with the Paletero man and all that went viral a couple years ago, that's been happening in the communities. So of course that's going to make people have a bad taste in their mouth for blacks. Yes, there are Mexicans that harm and rob the Paletero and the Corn Lady men too. But it's just some of the reasons why some older Hispanic people may have a dislike for my people. And I understand that in some of the communities that share territory with blacks, because you interact with them obviously a lot more than someone who lives maybe where it's just all Hispanics. So it seems to me a lot of times that the essays, we'll say the essays that are not around any blacks seem to be a little more hostile. But I don't know how you could be hostile towards something that you literally never cross paths with unless you're locked up. It's just like the whole North and South thing. Like, people from up north might not like people from down south because there's people from down south up north. But the people down south are only beefing with the people down south. So they might not care about somebody from Fresno or somebody from Northern California until they get locked up, which, you know, certain rules dictate that that's how it's supposed to be. Dubs also said another thing about gangbanging in general. Like, why are we even doing this? You know, the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different response or outcome. Well, that should be said about some of, and I'm not talking to him or, you know, obviously these rules have been set in place. But when do some of these rules, some of them I agree with, some of them keep the peace, but some of them is like, that's a little extreme. When do we start changing these rules if these rules ain't working? And maybe, I don't know, maybe they do to some people, maybe they do kind of keep the peace, but some of them just seem racist. I'm gonna get to that. Dubs also said in one of his videos the other day about prison, you know, essays go at it with the North, essays go at it with Fresno go at it with the North, Fresno go at it with the South. That's not racism. They're all Mexican. He has a very good point. Crips and Bloods go at each other. Bloods and Bloods go at each other. Crips and Crips go after each other. We understand that. That is not racist. That's just the political atmosphere of prison. Now, let's get to what Melly Mel, the hood postman, was saying, which I 100% agree with. And I said this in Dub's comments too. There are racial undertones with some of that stuff. Of course, everybody who go in there ain't racist, homie. The majority of them might not be racist. Shit, I think the majority of the white dudes ain't even racist unless they're a skinhead. But just the average wood, not racist. Like, do I think Splinter from Prison POV is racist? Hell no. But you're gonna go to jail, and as they say, you're gonna mine somebody. You're gonna fall up under a structure that has been set in place way before you. Now, like I said, go check Melly Mel, the hood postman out. I'm not gonna get into everything he said because I can't articulate it the way he said it, especially because I don't know the history like he does. So I'm not even about to try to sum up what he said. If you're interested in what I'm saying so far, go over there on the hood postman, check his channel out. The video is Bozo Responds to Big U. we're bozo. I seen that video, and I didn't hear the part that Melly Mel said that bozo called us blacks racist or prejudiced or whatever he said. He said we're the ones that's racist. Now, like I said, we get along for the most part perfectly fine on the streets. And a lot of times when those relationships go sour is because they may have gotten told by someone from inside to act differently towards us. But they genuinely don't feel like that, but they got to go with the punches. You can't go against the masses or the program, you know? Now people say, I ain't bigger than the program. So I understand that. But when you side with people with those ideologies, whether you agree with it or not, it's racist. I try to explain to Gil when I was on American Cholo on the podcast, if you siding with people who believe that they are the supreme race and everything else is beneath them, and you shouldn't mix with anything outside of your race to keep it pure. Also, if you will go as far as to severely beat and possibly get rid of, in general, a person just because he touched something or took something from someone of my color, that is a racist ideology, no matter how you slice it. You might not believe in that in your personal life. If y'all seen that interview, you seen when I said that, and then Gil was like, here's the joint. I'll smoke after you. We know you would, because you don't feel that way individually. But the mentality, when you go behind the wall, you have to go by those rules. Now, what's the difference between our communities on the street and our community in prison? What is the one thing that's there in prison with us black and brown people that is not there in our communities on the streets? The white man. The white man don't live in our parts of town with us. So I don't know how we could get along on the streets, and then when we go to prison, and all of a sudden there's an extra element added into the equation, the mentality changes towards the black man. See, we already know the history between blacks and white peoples. It's almost as if the whites got into someone's ear and turned them against us. We already know the whites are coming with, and not all of them, like I said, but the ones with the say-so are coming from a racist and a white supremacist point of view. These are the same people who wouldn't drink out of the same water fountain as us, wouldn't even go to the same schools as us, and when they did finally integrate the school system, we already know what was happening to black children. And they also discriminated against Mexican people. They had signs, and they couldn't eat there either, and they could only live in certain parts of town too. Wasn't just us, even though we got it worse, but they got it too. I don't know if y'all seen the movie Life. A lot of times they would not even serve our people. Told them to go way down the road. He like, man, we hungry. We want how much money? Even all the money he had a gang of money for back in 1920 or whatever it was. How much money do it take to turn these all white pies into nigger pies? Yeah, how about I turn y'all into nigger pies? It was that serious. And then a lot of times at those restaurants, when they would serve you, you couldn't sit in there. You had to go around back. Couldn't use the same bathrooms as them, as if we had germs or something. Even though, like Dubs was saying in his spiel the other day, Europeans didn't take baths and they brought all kind of diseases. But they don't want to touch nothing after we touched it. And these dirty motherfuckers is the ones that wouldn't bathe. I don't know. Not gonna get too deep into that. I don't know if I forgot what movie it was. I don't know if it was The Temptations or if it was the Ray Charles movie. I think it was The Temptations, where they had went down south and or it might have been Ray Charles. I don't know. One of them movies, one of them little biopics about back in the days with a musician. They went down south, and the first time they went, they literally had a divide line. They had the black kids over here and the white kids over there. Nigga couldn't even dance next to each other, even though the white kids are here listening to this black artist. Just like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't want to be a nigga, and that's a fine example of it. We're gonna spend our money to go see this black artist, but we're gonna stay away from the black people. Make it make sense. And then the second time he went down there, it was integrated after that. I think he went a couple years later. But I don't know if it was him or Temptations. Y'all let me know in the comments. But anyways, I'm saying all that to say, we know where this ideology comes from. We know who may have put that or planted that seed. And then Melly Mel went on to explain how, obviously, you know, the Spaniards and all that, they're white, they're European, Spanish-speaking people. So maybe some people feel closer to them or whatever because they have that in them. I don't know. Like I said, go watch his spiel. I'm not gonna get too deep on that. But like I said, if you will beat and stab your homie because he took something from a black person, that's racism. Whether you feel that way or not, that's the rules. Like I said, why is that the rules in prison and not on the street? Because the common denominator is the white person. If it wasn't for the white men, those probably will never even be the rules in the first place. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I already said what I said. It's racist. You might not individually be racist, but that's some racist ass shit. Anyways, your boy Hoodie from the Hood, aka your friend from that big O end. Yeah, man. I might go live tonight. I forgot who that was who asked me the other day on IG. Yeah, man, I be getting off work. I be tired. I be, man, spending time with my woman. I gotta do other stuff. So, yeah. I holla.